This presentation is for educational purposes only, and the opinions expressed are those of the presenter only. All trades presented are not traded in a live account and should be considered hypothetical. Hello everybody and welcome to Hawkeye FX with your host Marcus Toombs on the 2nd of October 2017, and this is my weekly review. Now if you remember back on the 18th or earlier of September, I discussed that the pound was about to turn and weaken, even though at that current time it was in a very much a bull run. Now the pound has turned and it is weakening now, although it has taken a couple of weeks to get here. If we look at this in the chart, you can see here on the 4-hour charts, I left in the red line from the 18th of September, and you can see now we are above it for the euro and below it for all of our other currencies here, and the pound is certainly now in a weakening cycle that we can appreciate visually. Looking at the pound here on the daily time frame, you can see we expect this pound to continue to weaken over the next week, but do watch out, it's already oversold here on the 720, 480, 240 and 120 minute as we speak after a long day of losses, and we should expect this to pull back in the trend before continuing in a weakening cycle. Now last week we were also looking for US dollar strength as we're on a very strong uptrend here, and also yen turning up for yen strength. If we look here on the 4-hour charts for the US dollar, we can see the US dollar was our strongest currency last week, making gains against all 6 of its counterparts. And here the yen on the 4-hour charts, you can see it's taken a while to turn to come back into strength, but you can see now at the current time it's making significant gains on the pound, the euro, the Aussie, the Canadian, and it looks like it will continue to strengthen now against the New Zealand, and we will see some strength come in against the US dollar when this turns and weakens. Okay, looking at the calendar for this coming month, we have the big one is that China is on holiday all of this week, and so there's little news or trade out of there. On Tuesday, we have the interest rate decision from the Australia, where we expect to keep rates on hold. They may continue to jawbone their currency. We also have the construction PMI for the pound. And then on Wednesday, we have the services PMI for the pound. This is the big one, as 80% of the British economy is in services. We also then have the ADP non-farm for the US dollar, with speakers Draghi and Yellen to look out for later in the day. On Thursday, we have retail sales out of Australia, and the ECB publishes their monetary policy meeting, which can shed some light on the future direction of that currency. And then finally Friday, I would say the big one, but it's not such a big news event anymore, that is non-farm payrolls, with the US already at full employment now at 4.4%, I think it is. This has less significance now as a data figure. We would notice though, however, it's expected to be a lot lower at 93,000 compared to 156,000 last month, and in previous months over 200,000. So this may well bring some weakness into the US dollar. And finally, the employment and the IV PMA from the Canadian dollar. So bearing that all in mind, I'm looking for continuing weakness with the pound through the week as this continues down, continuing strength in the US dollar, though we must be careful now with this high in the charts to see this price will turn shortly, maybe over the next week, maybe Friday non-farm payroll, and continuing strength for this yen as it travels up in the charts. We'll also be looking for the turn in this euro as it comes up here to form a double shoulder. We can see some strength coming in this currency, and also if this Aussie does turn here, this could now come into some strength. Okay, do keep these bigger trends in mind if you're intraday trading, and I wish you all the best for your trade in the forthcoming week.